Hello, everyone. This is Tom, your host for the Hidden Truth channel. How's everybody doing this evening? Tonight's live stream. Come on, you guys, settle down. Dogs decide they want to get crazy now. Tonight's live stream is going to be about competing with and protecting yourself from AI. Yep, interesting times we live in. So that's what we're going to discuss tonight. But if you're watching the replay, you can skip what I'm about to go over. I got to go a couple minutes, wait for some people to show up. But I saw something very interesting in today's world. Can you ever be surprised? But now they got breast milk ice cream. Okay. I'm not too sure on that. I think I'll stay with traditional cow's milk ice cream. But yeah, that's crazy times, everybody. Crazy times. They want to see bugs. I mean, are women going to line up selling their milk? And I know, when a woman breastfeeds, they have more milk than they need, and that's why they freeze it and stuff like that. But, what do you do with the supply and demand if the demand gets really big on breast milk ice cream? Anyway, this world gets stranger every day. So this is the newest item on the stores. Now from bugs, fake meat, what's JFK Jr. says is okay. I'll never see it. I'll tell you what, I don't buy meat at all in the store no more. If I don't see it on the hoof or whatever in the chicken coop, I just don't buy it. I don't trust what they're trying to sell in the grocery stores anymore. So, but yeah, breast milk ice cream. So if anybody's ever tried it, leave a comment. Tell me what it tastes like. Anyway, we got a few people showing up. So we're gonna get into the subject. Competing with and protecting yourself from artificial intelligence. I saw today, or heard today, that Microsoft laid off 9,000 people that they replaced with AI. Now, this is going to really hurt, especially middle-class families. These are the people that are making high 5 figures or 6 figures that AI is going to replace and stuff. 9,000 people. I mean, can you imagine if you're in college right now, paying all this money to go to college, and you're in trying to get a degree in a field where AI is taking over? I don't know. It'd be kind of scary. You don't know these days. And then, me personally, I'm in I do hard labor. I'm a cowboy. I like getting my hands dirty, stuff like that. Oh, hey, everybody. Sorry, I haven't been watching. Skip college and do a trade. Yeah, a trade school, exactly. A trade school, they pay good, especially these days. You can't find plumbers. If you got a small town and you got a plumber in it, you're lucky. All these trades, yeah, if you do your money right, you can become rich, but you're going to make a damn good living. And you're going to be able to start work as soon as you get out of college. Guaranteed job. And within 3 years of apprenticeship, learning the trade and stuff, you'll have your own business. Guaranteed. Now, I'm not saying that's the best thing in the world, because then you really be working your ass off. Bengals need a defense. I don't really watch the NFL anymore. I grew up in Minnesota. I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan. And ever since that game with the Atlanta Falcons in 1998 when we lost the NFC Championship, things have been rough. Why are you working? Well, I do work. I have 2 jobs. I'm on YouTube to spread the word because shit's going downhill, and then I still got a job. Okay? It's not like I don't work. So anyway, but competing with a computer. Can you imagine that? when your boss that you give loyalty to for, I don't know, 10, 15 years, all of a sudden comes up with this program, this AI algorithm program or whatever, where AI can do it and they just dump you. I mean, give you severance pay and stuff, but basically kick you in the gut and say, guess what? We got a cheaper way of doing it. I mean, just think, you don't have to pay AI medical, retirement. They don't need time off. You know, no paternity leave, stuff like that. But then also, again, with AI, doesn't pay taxes. So what are they going to sit there and start making these companies with the money? Anyway, the government can't go without making money, so they're going to have to figure something out. But yeah, I mean, it's not good. I mean, if you're in a job where you don't get your hands dirty and you don't sweat, you may have issues. Okay, remember, but this is all being done to benefit us. All right? I can't wait until I get just sorry here, guys. I got to do something here. See, we got some trolls in there. I don't mind trolls. They need a place to come to. I just put it on a 60-second delay so they can stay here and help my analytics out and stuff. And, you know, whatever. They can help channel out. Family, voila. Say hi. Hi. How's it going? I appreciate you being here. Hey, that's one thing. If you want to support the channel and you like the content, hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button and the bell notification. I appreciate it. Help me get the word out. Because like I say, we're all in a world of hurt. And now we got people competing with AI for jobs. You know, AI doesn't need a house, do they? AI doesn't have to worry about children or nothing, do they? I mean, they're turning jobs into, you know, where a boss cared about his employees because he knew a good employee that had a good home life made him money. Now they're throwing that all out the window. Anyway, so all you people that, like I say, in those upper 5 figures or lower 4-figure jobs, you know, the backbone of America, guess what? You're competing with a computer now. This is what our world's come to. You're competing with a computer. It's bad enough for somebody like me who likes enduring the heat and the cold and getting my hands dirty. I got to compete with people that aren't even Americans. But whatever. Now we're all competing. But 9,000 people Microsoft laid out. And that's just the beginning. And I know lots of people have lost jobs due to AI. But how do you protect it? How do you compete with a computer? There's no way you can. Like I say, the computer never needs no time off. AI never needs no time off. It doesn't need a benefit package. It doesn't need the coffee pot and stuff there. It doesn't need none of that. And then, what are people going to do for work? I mean, if the only thing you're qualified to do is what AI is taking over. I don't know, this is just insane. I mean, pretty soon our wars are going to be fought by nothing that's got a human being, except if they're thousands of miles away in a computer game set up. We're going to have autonomous robots. I mean, this is insane. And then you're going to have robots building robots. Anyway, what are these people going to do? I mean, a lot of these people, if you don't have a job, a sense of purpose, where you can better yourself, you know, you're just going to fall into the class that thinks that that's a great way to live. But they ain't going to need all of us if they get like that. They're going to need us people like me that'll still pick the tomatoes, okay? they'll still need us. You know, I love to see the first time a biped robot, autonomous robot gets in a lane with a bunch of cows and wants to move a bunch of cows. Those cows are going to destroy that damn thing. You know, I'm moving the cows down the lane. Those cows know I'm alive, okay? They know I'm a living, breathing creature. You got an autonomous robot in there trying to move cows, it's just not going to work, okay? I'm pretty safe. But I feel for these people, especially if you've gone through years of college to learn a trade, to learn, you know, whatever you learned, get a good job and everything's going great, got a great family, you know, a house, yeah, you got debt, but you paid it off, you know, you lived smart, and then all of a sudden, AI sits there and says, guess what, we don't need you no more. Oh, it's got to be tough. I mean, I can't imagine being in a position where I have to worry about that. Like I say, I got to compete with the illegals and the H-1B visas in this country. That's who I got to compete with, especially since the employers, they got incentives to hire these people over here. It's crazy. Foreigners have an easier time getting jobs than Americans here. But anyway, that's why I have lots of skills. You know, it's not like there's at work, but, you know, sometimes, you know, you like to do something. You know, I'd still like to sit there and go on the ranch and be a cowboy and stuff, but like I say, they want to bring all these foreigners in to do that job, and they bring these people in, and they get a lot of their wages back through this government program. It's just crock shit. And it's not fair. But now the middle class is going to know what it's like to compete against somebody. Dream Achiever, hi. I appreciate everybody being here. So anyway, and then how do you protect yourself from AI? Okay, and then there's nothing. With all these jobs that AI has taken over, what are colleges going to do when they don't even basically have to teach courses anymore because human beings... Oh, hey, Amanda, I didn't see you. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. But all these colleges, what about the courses? All this money they make on courses now, but they ain't going to have to do it no more because AI is going to be doing these jobs. Who's going to go to college now and take a course and try to get a degree in that's going to be definitely taken over by AI by the time you get out of college? You know, we need to make people smarter and more ambitious and more, you know, give them more of a drive than a damn computer. Crazy times. But then again, when I watched Terminator the first time in the 80s, I never thought that was one thing that could never come true. Now we're staring in the face. Heck, the government's embracing it. Remember, it's all being done for us. Team human, yeah. Like I say, HI. Let's improve human intelligence, not artificial intelligence. It's artificial, okay? The word right there should scare you. You know, yeah, increase it. You know, human beings have come a long way since the wheel. A long ways. A long ways in the last 80 years since the end of World War II. A long ways. We didn't need machines humans were in control. Like I say, we're going to lose our place on a totem pole. We'll no longer be top dog. We'll lose our place to a machine. And people are going to welcome this in because it'll make their lives easier. Oh, we'll just go to universal basic income. Then you can sit and take vacation the rest of your life. That's just a bad situation in so many ways. I mean, you know, it makes me think of population reduction, because what are they going to do with all of us? I guess the birth rate in America is going down quite a bit, but those spaces are being filled by the foreigners. But you know, it's just a bad situation. These two dogs. They're so happy here. That's one thing living out here and stuff. When this stuff all does affecting us and stuff, we don't deal with AI. I guess the farmers maybe do when the tractors and stuff a little bit. But this is a manual labor type area where you get out in the environment and you sweat. And you got to use your hands and have manual dexterity. It's just things, and you be able to think on your head. When you're dealing with machinery, and not driving down the road of the semi truck, and they start doing that, I definitely ain't driving on the interstate. But machinery and stuff that you got to be watching and be able to, correct problems right away. It just AI ain't gonna be able to do it. I wish they would sit there and think that a barrel of corn was worth as much as a barrel of oil. That would be nice once. But then again, we'd be paying a fortune for our food too. So it's a bad thing in both ways. But anyway, now let's get to protecting yourself from AI. And they are definitely trying to go cameras everywhere, facial recognition, digital currency, where everything is controlled by ones and zeros. Everything. You don't even have a dollar bill in your wallet anymore. I can sit there and have a job, but if I got the government determining what I can spend my money on, how easy it'd be to ration once they sat there, and then AI being in charge of all this stuff and control. Remember, a lot of this stuff, like on these social media platforms, like the heads up can say, well, we didn't know what was going on. The AI algorithm was doing, and nobody was checking on it, right? How do you protect yourself from that? Hey, Strictly Cycling, how's it going? I'm doing good tonight. Sorry, I haven't been watching the chat. I don't do that much, but I'm sorry. I try to get down. The number is 05. Anyway, but like Strictly Cycling, he's a personal trainer. Will he ever have to deal with AI? No, but he'll use technology. I can't imagine you're going to have a robot trying to teach people how to be physically fit when a robot wouldn't understand anything about being tired and muscly. It's just okay, but he's pretty protected from AI. But then again, people are gonna get so lazy where they ain't gonna work out anyway. This surveillance state, this dependency on automation, when this all goes down, people, and it will, all automation goes down, okay? And they can sit there, it's just going to go down one day, big time, all over the world, whether it be a CME, whatever, or somebody gets a virus, into everything that just destroys everything, some little moron in his basement that just wants to destroy the whole world. It's all going to go down one day. This dependence on AI is ridiculous. And then we want to get it so they drive cars. We're not even going to have to teach kids how to drive anymore. And then if the government doesn't want you around, well, that car is just going to do 150 miles an hour around the curve. Tell me it won't happen. Hell yeah, it happened. The powers that be will use AI to watch us closer than they already do. Yeah. Look at 1984, the guy's standing in the only place in his, if you want to call it a place of dwelling, so the cameras can't see him. And then it doesn't matter. They're going to have drones flying all over the place. Doesn't China already have that with the drones? It's insane. Yeah, are the aliens already in charge of this country? Because the tech, 85 years ago, World War II ended. Look at how far we have come in the last 100 years, considering 1845 to 1945. Okay? Oh, come on, you two. Knock it off. Dogs are going nuts. Anyway, I may have to let them out. I tell you what, it was so hot today. You couldn't be outside. It was hard to breathe. It was so hot. And, they got a lot of energy. So, by the way, protecting yourself from AI. And like I say, to go digital currency, all of a sudden the government is now your primary signature holder on your bank account, and you're the secondary. I'm not one for being watched. I'm not one. I like my privacy. That's one reason I live out here in the middle of nowhere. I like my privacy. And I know by the time it starts affecting me out here, you guys in the big cities are really screwed over, okay? I mean, your whole house, they want to have these smart houses, right? Where they monitor everything about you. As soon as you walk in, and then you're supposed to have this AI companion, right? That's in the house and monitoring you even when you're sleeping and stuff. Come on, Columbus, knock it off. This is beyond crazy. And you think, and then you got some Poindexter with a bow tie that's gonna be in a cubicle watching all this stuff. I guess there's still gonna be some jobs that'll be done by humans. The government will become the biggest employer when this all goes down, you realize, right? I don't know where they're going to get their money from. Nobody's going to be working, and then all the other jobs will be taken up by illegals, and nobody's going to be paying taxes. The governments are going to be making, this is the thing. A company can't make any money unless the consumer is making money. Okay, so how are they going to get the consumer making money if they take our jobs from us? Nobody's paying taxes. They're just going to start printing money and handing it to us. Anybody who knows economic theory knows that would work for about a couple days. And then it's like the big business would take all the money anyway. But, nothing's going to be yours. You'll own nothing and like it. You won't even own your own personal privacy anymore. There's going to be sensors on everything, and they're just going to regulate it. Like the incandescent light bulb, you can't buy them anymore because they just made it illegal, not by law, but what was it? I can't remember what 3-letter agency made it illegal. So now all we can do is buy these other ones. No more incandescent bulbs. And they say these new ones last just longer than an incandescent bulbs are full of shit. But they'll just make it so, like somebody who lives like me, old school, the way I like it, old time and stuff, they're just going to make it so I can't replace anything that I need to replace. If I can't find it at an auction or not like that, something that would older, I'm going to have to buy the new style. With the way the world is going now, we'll see. We'll be seeing God soon. Can you imagine not believing in God and your first, is you're standing in front of him at the pearly gates? That's a bad time to realize you were living a lie for a long time. Hey, and Amanda, I need to know, you are a medium, right? You're a medium on your shirt? Strictly Cycling's a large. J99's a large. Carol's a large. Has anybody seen Carol lately? I've been wondering what's happening with her. Email is, oh yeah, I need to know that. Because what happened is I sat there and commented on it, Amanda Slaughter 48. And it didn't erase the damn message, so I couldn't get back on the message. I knew it was the first part. I didn't know the number. This is what YouTube does. The craziness that goes on in social media to some of us creators. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's incomprehensible what they sit there and do, and then hide the lie. Now there is only 10 people in here. That's okay. You know, if everybody's worried about big numbers, I like the channel to grow. But YouTube isn't going to allow that. But I've also had 21,000 in here in an hour. Yeah, it's amazing how. Last night I had 16,000 in 1 hour, and now I'm not getting a lot of people. I'm sure the algorithm, the AI algorithm, has nothing to do with that. Every time my channel's like this AC wave. Okay, I was in the trough for a while, then I sit there and hit the peak, and now I'm coming down again. I sit there, I guess, you know, it's like I'm in the slow lane on the interstate along the shoulder doing 3 miles an hour, and last night I was shot into hyperspace. Woo! And today they're slowing me down again. But I'm sure it's got nothing to do with the AI algorithm, okay? But, you know, numbers are numbers as long as the people hear the message. It doesn't take 21,000. It takes one person or a couple people to hear the message, the right people. And that's what I'm looking for, quality, not quantity. So whatever, you chase your, whatever makes you feel good. Whatever makes you feel big. But, do we got some people that are disagreeing with me, Amanda? But I tell you what, the chat sure keeps my moderators busy. You know, this is all these people. You know, what are these? When people really realize what AI is going to take over, and it's even going to be broader than what I feel it's going to be. I know it is. I know there's lots of areas that I haven't thought of it's going to affect that I never would have thought of. You know, you get all these researchers and stuff, scientists. Well, do we need them anymore? As many of them anymore? Pretty soon you're going to go to the doctor, and it'll be like a medical scan. You walk through the door, boom, you just got scanned, and you're going to have an AI doctor tell you what's going on. Well, I'm hearing like 2 out of 5 people don't trust doctors anymore. No shit. I don't trust the damn quacks as far as you can throw them. AI is going to be more incomprehensible than people realize. Yeah. And this is the thing about artificial intelligence. When it becomes self-aware, do you think it's going to become self-aware like an 80-year-old wise, mature individual? Or it's going to come self-aware as a 5-year-old impetuous little child that's in charge of nuclear weapons with no emotional control or no wisdom or no maturity? How do you think AI is going to come? What's going to happen when it becomes self-aware? People don't think of that either. And then it's going to know everything about us. Everything. They're building all these places to store this memory and stuff. I mean, our founding fathers would extremely be against the surveillance state that they're creating. And I don't understand why more Americans aren't. They just don't care. You know, like I say, we grew up in the age where we had movies of FBI planting bugs in people's houses to try to listen to what was going on and doing illegal, and with bad government doing stuff. And now we got companies that are doing it, telling us they're doing it, and telling us they're sharing the information with the government. Then you got TikTok over here. The Chinese don't need spies in this country. They got TikTok. Okay? That's all they got. Tom, I got to run. Enjoy your live. We'll try to catch you next one. Hey, not a problem. Stay safe, strictly cycling, like you say. I'm always thinking of you there in New York City. Make sure you stay in shape. And, anyway, it's crazy time. Anyway, you have a great night. Amanda, I think it's going to know what everyone looks like and sounds like. Yeah, exactly. And then AI. Oh, can you imagine? Remember, seeing is everything. Seeing is believing. If AI can sit there and it's going to have you completely down. Now tell me, what kind of situation you could become guilty of if you were 500 miles away from it? And they say, no, we got the video of it. This, like I say, how do you protect yourself from this stuff? Especially when you got a bunch of human beings that are really ready to sit there and enforce whatever a computer tells them to do. Anyway, I worry about that. I guess out here, everybody will gang up. Like you say, when it starts happening out here, you people in the city, cities are already burning down, okay? But, just something else you got to worry about to protect yourself from. So, and then these people losing their jobs to AI. Losing your job to another human being is one thing. Or losing your job because the company's going broke and they got to eliminate your job, or laying you off for whatever reason, but being replaced by an inanimate object that has no family, owes its existence on Earth. And a human being, as a human being, you're getting crapped on. I just don't understand it. And like I say, people that have 15, 20 years in that are getting crapped on, loyalty, we're giving you a severance pay. You're giving me a kick in the ass. It's the end, my friend. Jesus is coming back. Well, he's going to have his work set out for him. You know what I say? Because when our part in saving this world, in turning evil around and kicking its ass the other way, we all have our part in it. It's time we realize that. Now, as a Marine, God needs his foot soldiers too. And as a Marine, I feel that position. I'll stand up to evil. I don't give a shit. Okay? I'll definitely stand up to a damn computer. It's bad enough I got to sit there and deal with it on my channel. Deal with, the shadow banning and the flat out censorship. Well, the ones, the shorts I put on that have no views or very few views, like under 10. I think the last message it was, you have violated several of our community guidelines. So I got the Alex Jones treatment. So this channel, I'm trying to tone down a little bit. Trying so I can, I realized it was getting the message out, not taking a personal grudge against, using it as a personal grudge to try to get back at these politicians or these companies that are causing hate, discontent for the human race and stuff. So I do it more tactfully, which I have been. But we're all going to have our part in take care of this shit show. When our economy collapses, it's going to affect everybody. The more debt you have, the more it's going to affect you. If you're on the welfare system and the Health and Human Services no longer has money to put on your EBT card, even after the Trump cuts, that's just the way it's going to be. Okay? When we become a third world country overnight. Anyway, we'll have World War, actual hot World War III before then. I mean, the U.S. will do anything to protect the petrodollar, if that even is going to exist. So anyway, you people in the big city, I mean, now you got to worry about AI, plus all the other shit you got to worry about. They like to say, I watch this guy named Angry Prepper. He's a retired firefighter from New York City. He's a big black guy, right? And he's walking around the city that night, live streaming, and he points over to the dumpsters, and the bags of garbage in the dumpster are moving. And he says, that's the rats. It was moving. Out here in the country, if we had anything like that, that problem would be solved immediately. It would never be allowed to get that. Okay? But anyway, it was crazy. Anyway, hey, if you want to help support the channel, hit the thumbs up button, please, and subscribe and bell notification. Helps the channel grow. You know, gets the algorithm off my back a little bit, shows people want to watch the stuff. And like I say, we got to get this content out. I mean, people are losing jobs to artificial intelligence now. And it's just a story on the news. I mean, what about the human toll, people? I just don't. To have to actually see, you know, you're middle class, you're making good money, right? And you're paying your bills and be able to put a little money away. But if your bills, you know, it doesn't take but a couple months to fall behind. You know, and then what do you do if you lost a job to AI? How do you even apply for another job in the same field? Knowing that definitely in a couple of years, you'll lose it. What do you go back to college for? This is why it's so important to have skills. Lots of skills. Have the endurance to work out in, you know, extreme conditions. But, you know, go to a trade school. There's guaranteed income these days. A trade school in plumbing, carpentry, building houses, remodeling houses, whatever the case may be. You know, like 3 years as an apprenticeship and 4 years you have a business. And you're guaranteed. Like say these small towns, we can't even have a tire shop in town anymore. Yeah, you're not going to sit there and make a fortune, but you're going to make a good living, have a happy family life, a lot less stress. You'll have the town respect you and stand up to you because you're providing the service that they need, that they don't have to drive 50 miles for. You know, a lot of us don't live in a big city where everything's just right around the corner. You know, where all the main food is made, it's not like that. And these smaller towns are drying up anyway because nobody wants to live there no more. The only industry is the farmers or the local elevator or, you know, some local chain. He doesn't drink. He doesn't drink the Baxalder. Oh, are you drunk? Are you drunk? No, I don't drink, sir. Don't drink. You know, I did enough drinking when I was in the Marine Corps and overseas. I don't see the point in it. It's just, I'm too busy. I don't like the taste of it. I'm kind of a boring person. I'm definitely not going to be one that's going to sit in a bar and spend hundreds of dollars at night to sit there and get drunk. That's retarded. So, anyway. But lagging a little. All right. Well, I'm going to get out of here, Amanda. Can you help us find Patty? I don't know what Patty you're talking about. But, sober today for 100 days. Well, that's good. That's good. Like I say, I drink in the service and stuff. What happened is not that I was an alcoholic or not, but when you're overseas, you know, pulling the port, everybody gets drunk. But I got alcohol poisoning once, and from vodka screwdrivers, and ever since then, and that's been a lot of years ago. Like I said, I was in my first term in the Marine Corps when that happened, and No hard liquor and me do not. Liquor, I don't get the taste for it. And like I say, you know, a half a beer and I'll have a hangover and stuff. Nah, it's not my thing. So, nothing against anybody that does drink and stuff, but just, you know, everybody's got their bad habits, right? You know, that isn't mine. So, but imagine if they pulled another 2020 in another 10 or 20 years, people would be even more. She is missing. You know, like I say, you want to worry about what happened in 2020, study the 1917 and 1918 Spanish flu. Study it. But they say started in 1915 in England, and because of the trenches and the stress, that's what ended World War I, people, was that flu. Because they didn't have nobody to freaking fight. Nobody to support the war. Everybody was dying. They took out 10% of the population of the planet. Okay? Study that, and you'll see how much of a joke this game of Simon Says was. But then again, I never wore a mask, never worked the distance in the air, never social distance, fought it as much as possible, and never got a shot. Went to work every day, never ever did get sick. Still wondering how I'm still alive. Anyway, according to the experts, but whatever, you know, the human body has had the immunity, our immune system for a long time. And it's worked. It's really worked because we've been around for a long time. Is this a conspiracy live? Oh, I don't know. What's conspiracy these days? This is the thing. What's conspiracy these days? You watch the news and you got one side that says their story this way, one side that says the same story this way, and you got us in the middle that don't believe either, and I guess we're the conspiracy theorists, right? We're kind of sitting here scratching our head, be like, hey, this don't make no sense. But I do believe that the government does hide stuff, okay? You know, am I going to believe in a magic bullet that killed JFK? Hell no. All right? That's just one. We can go back to the conspiracy theories with Abraham Lincoln and Secretary of State War Stewart and stuff. And the Booth page is missing out of his diary. I mean, there's lots of things that don't add up and the government gets involved. You can call them conspiracies or whatever. You know, this is the thing. When people know they're being lied to and nobody will come up with the truth, well, when did the human race get so sick that we need to be treated as pincushions as soon as children are born, and all the way through your life, you always got to go to the doctor? I mean, not even any, you know, I grew up in an age where you only went to the doctor if you were sick. You need to go to the doctor. Now you're supposed to go to the doctor so they can tell you if you're not sick, how you are sick. This is beyond real. I remember back in the 90s, early 90s, when I still went to the doctor. And I was dealing with these doctors, and they would sit there and we would talk. And this was like back in 95. And they would sit there and tell me how these pharmaceutical companies would have their representatives come in, and they would just push these pills that they wanted them to sit there and give to the public. And these older doctors were having it. They couldn't take it no more. So he's like, we're here to sit there. The old doctors, yeah, the money came, but the old doctor, they wanted to serve people, their patients, the people they grew up with. You know, the children that they grew up with that became mothers or fathers, and then they were taking care of their children and stuff. And then you got this third party coming in telling them, no, you need to treat them this way with the pill. Like I say, when I used to take pills, it was, hey, you take this pill for a week or 10 days, It makes you better, and listen to the doctor. You never have to take a pill anymore. Now it's so unhealthy. I mean, almost every day, I hear a new disease that's been created, come up with. I don't buy it. Okay, my parents didn't grow up with such crap. My grandparents didn't grow up with such crap. You know, when I was in school, there was no such thing as ADHD or that D or this D. You know, it was called being a kid, and they got disciplined for being bad. Not a pill shoved in their mouth so they can all act as zombies, and the teacher can, oh, I finally got control of my class. Anyway. Oh, don't worry, AI will take over making medication too, right? And then they'll take over for testing it. Anyway. Say if you got a job that's threatened by AI, they're going to have to choose a different path because it ain't going to get no better. It's just going to get harder. Who cares about the stress level as long as the money level is really high? Me personally, I like my stress level low, and if I got to keep my money level low for that, so be it. Well, I just subscribed to your channel. BC, unlike a lot of other numbnuts on YouTube Live, you sound like your gears are turning. Well, a little bit. A little bit. No, I'm just a Marine that's had enough. You know, they sent me all overseas and stuff to sit there and fight the same shit that's over here now with our politicians inviting it in. And like they say, I see the forest through the trees. And I see all Americans are affected. They want to destroy all Americans, not just conservative, so people don't realize what they're doing. And I feel I got to do my part before my Marine Corps skills are needed, okay? I want to do my part to try to make, you know, bring some people around it and just help get the word out. Because if we don't turn this around, we're going to live in an utter hell that, well, a robot is going to be more important than a human being. Because a robot will be more productive, make some rich guy money, and not cost him any money. I just see what's going on. And maybe it's easier for me to see. And nobody seems to care. Everybody knows what the problem is. But they don't seem to want to fix it. And I don't know why. We're all going to have to suffer to fix problems. Problems are not just solved by no sacrifice. And the bigger this problem becomes, the more we're going to have to sacrifice to fix it. Like I said, it comes down to we all got to pay for this country being in debt like it is. When it comes time where we got to pay the piper, it's just going to be bad. And I'm sure they'll use AI to hide the problem too, right? But anyway, so protecting your job and protect drones out. We'll probably get drone bases everywhere. Anyway, it's going to be crazy times to live. These people, person or a better culture or a better country nowadays, they don't want it. So, what's this? Well, then may I ask your opinion? Today, announced that service members who identify as transgender will not see the option to retirement pay and will be forced to resign. Yeah, you know why? If you've never been in the military, okay, when I was in, we lived in squad base still. The last units in the Marine Corps to be in squad base. We had a community head, that means bathroom, that had one shower room with 10 shower heads. One room with sinks in it, and one room with laundry and toilets in it. 5 toilets and urinals But there were no stalls between anything. No stalls. Okay, I'm taking a crap. The guy next to me, hey, can I have the toilet paper? Do you see the problem? And it's just, the military should be made safe, right? If you've never been there, you don't have an opinion on it. You don't know the stresses of it. And that's just in garrison. What do you do when you're on ship and you're even more cramped? You know, this is the thing. I couldn't even go deploy if I had a toothache. I had to be class A, health, dental, everything. Do you understand? Because it takes away the cohesiveness of the unit and yourself. Anyway, that's just the way I'm always going to believe on it. I don't care. I can't even imagine what boot camp would be. Okay? Why should 100 people have to sacrifice, or even 1,000, for one to be, their feelings not to be heard? I thought we lived in a democracy, right? Majority rules. Good evening, Tom. Looking good. Hey, secure. Hey, how's it? You bad? Anyway, I appreciate all the advice you give me on my channels for help me get the word out. These are all friends from YouTube. You know, you don't have to meet somebody face to face anymore to know. I mean, we see so much evil in the world that we know good when it's there. Especially the easiest way to see good, give up. We look at evil and say, "Blah! You don't do shit to me. It just comes. I'm just going to come at you harder." When things get tough and the cream rises to the top, people will follow. People that are righteous, have a high self-esteem, walk tall. You know, they'll gravitate towards that because they'll be safe. And somebody who cares about them. Unlike these politicians, oh yeah, I care about you, vote for me, right? Our votes. I'm giving a uniform inspection. I got a guy in there who thinks he's a woman. Excuse me, what uniform is he wearing? Because if he shows up in a woman's uniform in my formation, he's going to the frickin' ass brig. There are customs and courtesies in the military. What you get taught in boot camp and transgenderism does not fit into the customs and courtesies. And like I say, if you've never been in that foxhole, you've never been in that situation, you've never lived in crap quarters, and you don't want to be I'm tired of it. The military, you know, you want to know what the military's like? Watch Full Metal Jacket. You know, my daughter, she said she finally watched Full Metal Jacket. And she goes, "Dad, you went through that?" I said, "That was easy. That was just a movie." I mean, they had a lot of parts about boot camp that were accurate, but that was just a movie. But being a Marine, you laughed your ass through the first half hour, right? But for me, boot camp was the easiest time of my whole Marine Corps career. Easiest, by far. Okay? A drill instructor, if I was a drill instructor and I had to deal with a transgender, I would push him until he quit. You know why? Because that's what drill instructors' jobs are, to push the weak. Because the strong will stay strong, but they can pick out the weak just like an animal can pick out the weakness in you. Okay? And make them crack. Because when you're in a firefight, you don't have time to crack then. Just tired of the transgender and all the stupid shit. You know, when I was growing up, yeah, we had them too when I was growing up. But nobody knew about them because they kept it in their fucking closet. If the first thing I got to know about is your sexual orientation, you and I are not going to get along. Okay? I don't even want to hear about guys that go out and sit there and do the stuff with their girls. I don't want to hear that shit. That's just bragging. But the first thing I got to know about your sexual orientation, you and I aren't going to get along. Nope. Because you already told me how I'm supposed to judge you. On what you think I should think of you. No, I'll judge you on what I think of you. Anyway. Oh, I got Google in here. But I'm telling you, this is now a division in our country. A division on X and XY chromosomes. Divided on that now. Isn't America just great? Hey, thank you for subscribing. I enjoy it. I tell you what, I want to get the channel grow so I can get the words out. I'm not afraid to take on people and their opinion. But I tell you what, I do appreciate your opinion. But like I say, I have served in the Marine Corps. No frickin' way. No way. Homosexuals weren't allowed in. Nothing was allowed to affect the cohesiveness of the unit. Nothing. And people that were acting like, see, this is the thing. These people are suffering from mental illness. Transgender dysphoria or gender dysphoria is a disease. Now, when I was in, you would never even be allowed to carry a gun if you thought like that. And then you're on all these medications. Our heads clean. We just didn't have bathing. We lived out in trees, okay? We did. People wonder why I'm a lone wolf prepper. But anyway, the hygiene was unbelievable. Women cannot do what I did just because of hygiene. They would have severe problems. There's no way a transgender who had an operation, they couldn't do what I did anyway, but just saying. Some jobs, although women can say they can do any job a man can do, no, you can't. No, you can't. There's no way a woman can go a month without taking a fucking shower. They can't do it. And then what happens when the woman's out there in the bush? But see, the average civilian doesn't take all those things into consideration. That's all about the glory, right? Yeah, glory my ass. Anyway. But pretty soon we're not going to have to worry about that because we're going to have AI, autonomous, bipedal robots that are fighting wars for us. And we want to... Anybody ever see that Star Trek episode where the Enterprise goes... Anyway, Kirk and the landing party go around this planet, and this planet's at war with another planet. And instead of fighting each other physically, their computers fight each other. And then the computer says, oh, this city was hit and 20,000 people got killed. So 20,000 people from that city. To be living next to a stream in my dugout with my horses and dogs far away from people. And I think that would definitely be the time. Legging, Tom. Okay. Hey, I'm going to get out of here, everybody. Obviously, YouTube's having a problem with my live stream. But I appreciate everybody being here. And tomorrow, I'm going to do my live stream from the house. Maybe that'll make a difference, but, you know, what do you do? This is what us creators deal with. So anyway, I appreciate everybody being here. Have a great night, and I will see you guys again tomorrow night. Heck, I've gone already an hour and almost 5 minutes. It's amazing how time flies. Well, I like to sit here and have a live stream, and I'm sick of seeing it. I'm sick of seeing Americans struggle. I'm sick of seeing foreigners brought says there's no list. There's only so much a people can take before we finally put an end to this shit. And that's what's going to happen. And remember, we're not doing this because we want to. All of us would sit there and rather have our 4th of Julys like normal, be able to watch our sports without the wokeness, and just enjoy our lives and, enjoy our children, enjoy our families, retire, enjoy the natural wonders of the freedom of the United States. But the powers that be don't seem to want that, okay? And, people losing their jobs because of AI, the government controlling us with AI, everything from our money to our freedom. Completely surveilled from the time you go into a city, facial recognition. Times are going to get crazy. But I sure appreciate everybody being here. This is a problem we're all going to have to face. We're all on this sinking ship together, people. It doesn't matter what your political affiliation is. We're all on this sinking ship together. AI eventually controlling the government and everything. And the road we're headed. Yeah. But it can be changed at any time. If we don't change history, if we don't stand up to this stuff, and improve human intelligence, I'm not saying there ain't a place for AI, but it's overstepped its bounds when it starts taking jobs from human beings. Then it's over every night. You're making his mortgage payment stuff, paying his credit card bills and stuff. AI can't control anything. It's a man problem. Eve is yet Steve. AI is just a big autocorrect. It can't. If I can just, I need to do this on my computer. On my phone, it's so small. You people on either side, if you don't stand for my side, you're for the other side. No, I'm for, you got 25% on your side. They got 25% on theirs. Evil. Anybody who's, I got kicked in the gut because of Trump. Voting for that shit no more. No more. When I started hearing the politicians start talking about a constitutional republic and understands what kind of form of government we have, well, he might start having my vote. Constitutional conservative. Keep calling this democracy shit. I'm not even going to listen to you. I don't hear you. Okay? Because it doesn't matter what democracy we have, the Republican democracy or the Democratic democracy in charge of in this country. I'm a victim from both fucking parties. I am the sheep from both parties. Okay? And a lot of people are finding out, especially after this no list shit, that they're all the freaking same. And they're protecting each other. It's beyond cruel what's happening in this world. What's your opinion on monarchism? Absolutely not. They're all inbred. I mean, in World War I, you had cousins that were at war with each other. Cousins. Kaiser Wilhelm was the grandson of Queen Victoria. And after she died, and she kept control of these morons fighting each other, we had World War I because the rest of her family couldn't get along. I believe in July 4th, 1776, no King's Day, to the king. Well, I believe King George was German too, in charge of the British Empire. So no, I don't like that at all. I have no time for them. I wouldn't piss on them if they were on fire. And I think since Prince Harry killed a 16-year-old girl on Epstein Island, he should be charged with murder. Oh, that's right. What did the police in Britain say? There was nothing there to see. So anyway, them taken at a country house on the same porch swing that a picture of Queen Elizabeth was on. No connection. Everybody sees, and nobody wants to do anything about as long as their bank account's good. I guess when everybody's bank account hits zero, then they'll realize there's a problem and there's time to fix it. But, I hear lots of mega Republicans here how great everything is under Trump. He can do all these. I don't feel he's done anything that great. The big, beautiful bill was bullshit. The no Epstein list is bullshit. The amnesty to illegals that are doing jobs that Americans don't want is bullshit. Okay? Spending money that we don't have is bullshit. Bombing Iran is bullshit. Giving money to Ukraine and telling Putin he better come to the table and be done with it is bullshit. He thinks he's got right to sit there and have any say in the Russia-Ukraine war just because we're supporting it? No. So, but then again, I don't like the Democrats either. In fact, I hate them even worse. But the Republicans seem to sit there and want to fail and destroy the country just as much as the Democrats are, with the American people being in the middle. Subscribe button and the bell notification. We need to get this out. I want to go back to the country we had where it didn't matter. Those days are gone. We got a lot of hate and discontent in today's world, and the politicians are just spreading it. And now that with this AI, is a politician going to ever have to compete for a job? Who knows where this can all end one day if we don't decide to stand up and do something. Anyway, that's all I got for tonight. I appreciate everybody being here. I went a little long, but it's easy to do. Like you say, what do you do when you finally had enough and you got kids and you got grandkids and you can see the world that's coming that they're going to have to grow up in? It's hard for a grandpa to sit back and watch his grandchildren and his daughters have to endure this. Anyway, that's all I got for this evening. Everybody have a great night. This is Tom with Hidden Truths. I am out of here.